We're here in southern Utah with the 2023 Polaris General XP4 1000, and we're about to go through 5 things we love about it and 5 things we hate about it. Number 1, these wheels and tires are awesome. It comes with 30-inch Pro Armor crawlers wrapped around 14-inch alloy rims right from the factory. We've not had any trouble getting these things over anything we point them at, and the tread pattern is different front to rear, so you get a pattern that digs in and kind of holds a corner in the front, and one that'll kind of let you slip it around out back. Number 2, these Walker Evans shocks are excellent. Now, you know, you can get Polaris's outfitted with Fox, and we always have good things to say about Fox suspension. This is the unsung hero of the Polaris lineup. There's lots of adjustability from soft to hard back here. They're external bypass, and you get like 14 inches of travel. They're fantastic, and again, out here in the rocks, we have not had any trouble getting over any step, any ledge, nothing. And the other cool thing about the Walker Evans shocks is that when you're on a washboarded road or a corrugated road, they really work with the 4-door chassis to smooth out the bumps and make it just kind of a pillowy ride. You don't notice any of the harshness that you might in a sport rig or a utility rig. Before we get to number 3, do me a favor, go down below, like this video and comment on it, and then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you get notified when we have new content coming out. We release new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and you don't want to miss it. Number 3, the seats. And the interior in general, the space in here is fantastic. There's tons of storage room. You get a big glove box. You get 2 consoles. There's one in the front and one in the rear. Each one has a charger in it. There's room for my phone. There's room for trail supplies, snacks, whatever you want. And when you're out back, there's enough room for an adult to sit back there and be comfortable all day on a trail ride. It's something we love about Polaris vehicles. Regardless of interior quality, they're always very comfortable and the seats are fantastic. Number 4, staying in the interior, this rig has Polaris Ride Command. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that Ride Command is the industry standard, especially for stock configuration infotainment systems. This thing will do trail navigation, it'll play your tunes, it'll tell you the weather, it'll keep track of your buddies. We wish that other companies would buy it from Polaris and put it in their rigs because it's that good. Number 5, it has a 4,500 pound winch from the factory. We put that thing to the test this week. Pulling one of our rigs out of a really sticky situation. This thing was flawless. It never flinched, it never made any weird noises, and it always had as much power as we needed it to have. This thing was a literal lifesaver this week, and it's one of our favorite features of the 2023 General. Bonus round, this thing is a handsome beast. I mean, look at it. It looks great, it looks newer than it is, and yeah, there's something to be said for having a machine that you want to look back at. So that's what we like about it, and now 5 things we hate about it. Number 1, this rig's fit and finish is now outclassed. It's an old rig, and it's showing its age, but there's just all kinds of hard plastic and hard edges in here, and you know, you get stuff like square tubes with weld splatter on them, and it just doesn't look like you'd be proud of spending $30,000, and the reality is that's the price level you'll be at when you get out the door. There's stuff in Polaris's lineup that came out in the last 2 years that is markedly nicer, so it's time for this rig to get a bit of an update. Thing number 2, the bed's too small. You can apparently put 600 pounds of stuff back here, but we've got our recovery gear, a toolbox, water, and fuel, and that is it. There's not really any space for anything else back here. Maybe you could get a tent if you were really careful, but for a rig that's supposed to be a rec utility rig, it needs more space. Thing number 3, these seat belts get stuck in the doors. So you get in the rig and you're about ready to take off, but you gotta put your seat belt on. Gotta open the door to unhook it every time, and now it's stuck. That's not something you want to have to deal with every time you get in your rig. Number 4, this rig is old. It shows its age everywhere. We already talked about the interior, but it's starting to look dated, even if it's something that we like. It squeaks and it rattles where modern rigs don't. There are nicer rigs in Polaris's lineup, and it kind of handicaps the General because as good as this thing is in other places, it really looks like it's time for it to be redesigned. Number 5, the shifter. It feels good. It feels better than a lot of other shifters and other Polarises. But when you go to put it in gear, it'll tell you on the screen what gear it's in, and that's not always true. We've had a few times this week where we've put it in low or high and hit the gas and it just makes a noise and doesn't go anywhere because the thing hasn't fully engaged. Sometimes you got to wiggle it around, sometimes you got to go all the way back to park and pull it back into the gear you want to be in. That really makes this thing feel like it's a worse rig than it is, and it really lets the whole experience down. That's been 5 things we love and 5 things we hate about the 2023 Polaris General XP4 1000. This rig retails for $31,999, and if you want to know more about it, check us out at utvdriver.com or all our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out. We'll see you there. I'm madder about this than I should be.